On everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Real quick, guys, give me a thumbs up. You guys can hear me. You guys can see me. We know that that's working. Yes. Awesome. I got it. Got it. Guys, really been looking forward to doing this. I heard that you all are the best of the best, that you're great at what you do. And not that I don't love talking to everybody else, but I especially love talking to you guys. Today's topic I'm really excited about too, because, I think it matters more than ever. How many of you have more buyers than you do sellers right now? Just by a show of hands. Okay, awesome. How many of you would like more sellers, right? I think we all know that sellers are where the market is, listings are where the market is, and we find ourselves in an interesting place. There is in 2021 amazing opportunity, but the truth is it's not for everyone. The market moving forward is not for those that are, just staring at their phone and hoping that, someone calls. It's for the people who innovate. It's for the people who adopt. I literally just released a video yesterday on YouTube talking about the difference between awareness and adoption. Those are two different things, awareness and adoption. And I think we all can agree that we are more aware than ever, right? Between content, between the news, we're a pretty aware people, right? But awareness alone doesn't do it for us. Ultimately, you've got to adopt, you've got to innovate, you've got to change, and we went through a year, let's face it, 2020. 2020 was kind of a doozy, right? We can say that. And I'm aware that a lot of you look at me to be the person that is the motivational guy and tells you things like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all of that nonsense. The truth is some things don't kill you and don't make you stronger. I stubbed my toe the other day. It didn't kill me, and I wish it never happened, right? And that's kind of how I look at 2020. And yet, when we look to 2021, there are amazing opportunities, and we're gonna talk about some of those things today. And so I would ask you guys, for the next, I think we're gonna leave some time for Q&A as well. So in total, over the next about 40 minutes here, we're gonna do a little Q&A. I'm gonna talk about different ways to get listings. Please give me your attention. I am aware that you guys just went through a listing boot camp, which is awesome. And I heard about the things that you were taught and the different strategies you were taught. I'm probably going to cover some different things today in addition to some of the things that you've already been taught that are a little bit different, a little bit outside the box. Like I said, you got to be able to innovate. I'll probably start slow and go with things that are a little more old school, and then we'll bring it up a notch. The good news is it looks like this is being recorded, and I'm also going to be able to screen share. And so I don't know about the rest of you, but at times I get zoomed out. Are any of you feel sometimes like you're zoomed out? Any of you? I say on a Zoom meeting. I think we all can agree with that. We can't wait for live meetings. There's nothing wrong with saying that, right? Tomorrow I head to an event in Florida and I can't freaking wait, right? But at the same time, we've got to acknowledge that there are advantages too. Like the fact that what I'm going to be able to do today and what I'm going to be able to show you and actually like practically show it to you is something that I can't do live on a stage. And so there's advantages in that too. So I'm going to get very practical. For those of you really quickly that aren't familiar with me, I'm not a coach, who basically couldn't do anything with their life. So they became a coach, learned how to sell, tell people how to sell real estate because they couldn't sell houses. I grew up in the industry. I was my mother's unpaid assistant for many years. I was the #1 agent in the country when I was 26 years old. I've sat across the dining room table. How many of you know there's a big difference sometimes between the scripts we read and what people actually say when we're sitting across the dining room table? How many of you have ever experienced that before? You've been following a script and you say A, they say B, you say A, and then they don't say B, and you're not really sure where to go, right? This is not one of those situations. I didn't watch a good video or read a good book on sales. I live it. I live it every day. I've lived it my whole life. I still to this day run multiple multi-million-dollar companies. I run one of the largest coaching and training companies for real estate people in the industry. And it's all real world stuff. So give me your attention as we move forward here, guys. I'm going to be very practical. I'm going to show you everything that I talk about, every template, every script, everything. I'm going to give you for free. Okay. So don't worry about that. Don't worry. There's no last 90 seconds where I'm going to invite you to my booth in the back. And try to sell you something. I'm literally just going to give you guys value, and show you where you can get things for free that I talk about so that we can all leave this session a little bit better at what we do and a little bit more prepared you know, to really close that potential gap in our life in 2021. Does that sound good to everybody? You guys on board? Awesome. I've got half of you on board. That's what I was looking for. That is a win. Okay. By the end, we'll get up to about 75%. Okay. So let's talk about it, guys. First off, there's three ways that you really can get new business. There's three ways that you can pick up listings, right? You can wait for it, you can pay for it, or you can make it happen, right? The first option, waiting for it, that is the traditional method that most of us follow. That's the sit around and wait. That's the hope that our book of business works. That's, you know, that kind of a thing. You can pay for it and pay for it. There are many ways to pay for it. You can pay for it with time. You can pay for it with money. There's a lot of ways you can pay for it. Or you can make it happen. And I'm probably going to cover a lot more of that today. You know, ways that we are proactively out there creating business. I'm a big believer in the idea, and what we teach all of our students is that visibility trumps ability. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Visibility trumps ability. And what that means is that the best doesn't always win. The one who's an option is the one who wins. Can we agree with that? Have any of you ever had someone else in your area sell a house, get a listing, and you know that you're better than them? Any of you ever had that situation, right? And so don't look at anybody right now, but like, why did that happen? That happened because you weren't an option, because the people that were in front of them were the option, right? And so we're going to talk about a lot of ways to get visible. I'm going to do this just one after another after another. So the first way I want to talk about right now is in regards to your database, right? Your database. Let's talk about some ways that you can do that, okay? Right now, I'm going to give you guys some free templates. You can probably see my Instagram right now. You can go download these or take these right off of my Instagram. I put this up, let me see here, about 6, 7, 8. Here we go, about the 10th post down. There's 3 different email templates you can use to your database to potentially be gaining sellers, okay? So if you scroll about 10 down, it's at Jared James Today on Instagram. I'll post these links at the end so you know where to go to get this free stuff. The easiest way to grab anything that I tell you about on social today is just to go to www.connectwithjared.com. Connectwithjared.com. All of my links are there, Insta, Facebook, groups, all that stuff. So when you go about 10 down, there's this post right here with 3 different templates that you guys can use. And now we're at a point where it's not theoretical anymore. Like, we've had students and followers that have been posting this stuff, and I'm getting messages every day. Oh my God, I just sent that an hour ago and I've got 2 listing appointments set up, okay? Sometimes the simple just works. I'll tell you what definitely works is actually doing something over overthinking something, right? How many of you know that we do that? We overthink a lot. So here's one template. It's going to go out and it's going to say, you won't believe this, is the subject, right? You got to have subjects that grab their attention. Hi, first name, you won't believe this, but I've got 2 buyers looking for a home in blank that are ready, willing, and able to go, but unfortunately, due to the extremely low inventory, we've been unable to find them anything. That's why I'm reaching out to you. Can you do me a favor? And if you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your house or their house without it ever hitting the market, right? That's called COVID style language. I may be able to sell it without it ever hitting the market, without having 42 people walk through. There's one template for you. Another one, these are all completely different, by the way. The subject is, wow, who knew that Zillow could be so off? You want to grab someone's attention, throw Zillow in the subject. It says, hi, first name. Market's crazy right now, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. In fact, did you know that the former CEO of Zillow sold his home for more than 40% less than his estimate? Who knew that it could be so inaccurate? Here's the good news. If you or a friend wants to know the true value of their home or a house they're considering buying, just reply to this email with the address, and I'll let you know what it's really worth. I'm standing by, ready to go. Here's a third option. Again, these are all available for you guys to go and steal and try out. Subject, I'm ready to solve a dilemma you might have. Hi, first name, as you may or may not know, we have a serious inventory problem here in blank. More importantly, it may be causing a dilemma for you or someone you know that I'm ready to solve for you. What is that dilemma? You may want to sell but are unsure that you can find another house worthy of moving into. Have any of you run into that situation, right? That seems to be everyone's situation. For that reason, I've decided to offer my services free of charge to keep an eye out for you and what you might be looking for, which includes notifying you of off-market listings, which is what everyone wants to know about, when they're brought to my attention. I only do this for my top clients, so please reply to this email with your needs ASAP to reserve your spot atop my list. That's called scarcity. It works every time. I look forward to hearing from you. So there's one example for you of one way you can gain listings, which is by using your database. Be proactive and actually send out what it is that you need, or send out an email with a compelling call to action to get people to respond to you. What's another way we can do? Well, let's talk about social posts, okay? Social posts can work. So if you go on Facebook, I'm going to show you guys some posts you can do. Let me just pull this up here. Go to Jared James Coaching. There you go. So there's a group on Facebook called Jared James Coaching. You all can join it. It's free, but there's going to be some examples in here you can use. So if you go to the group, Jared James Coaching, and you go into this search over here, and you just type in the number 4, okay? One of the examples that's going to come up is this right here, this post. This post right here that says only post them one at a time, from June 10th, has 4 examples of posts that you can use to gain business. Now, you're going to need to adjust them a little bit because, for example, the first one says, let's get real about quarantine. You're not going to say quarantine. You're going to say 2021, right? So here's 4 examples of things you can post on your Facebook. You can post them on your Instagram. You can post them on, wherever. You can promote them. You can, however you want to do it. And you want to do them separately, spread them out by a week, put them on different platforms. But these questions actually, what they do is they start to leverage the algorithm within Facebook and Instagram. Because a lot of you aren't aware of this, but the way the algorithm is changed, it doesn't actually, it doesn't go up just for likes now. It needs comments. Comments are what gets that algorithm juice, so to say, and starts having it show it to more people. So we want to post questions that make people answer, because even if they answer with a joke or they're not serious, it now triggers that algorithm and it shows up to more people who are potentially serious. So here's one you could say. Let's get real about 2021. After sitting at home for months, what are 3 non-negotiables that your next house has to have that your current one doesn't? Right? And you post things like that and people see it, and some people get in there and start joking around, but some people jump in there and they're like, wait a second, mine's going to need to have blah, 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 because I can't take it here anymore. We've got to get out of this house. And you start finding real people. There's a couple other examples here. And then what about the bottom one? I'm doing a little research on a scale of 1 to 10. How likely would you be to sell your current home if I brought you the right buyer at a great price, right? We have people that are posting these kinds of things, and when they do, what's happening? It's triggering that algorithm. They're getting hundreds of comments, and they're picking up 4, 5, 6 potential sellers as a result of the questions that they're asking, right? Let's look at what else we can do from a social perspective. I'm going to hope to God this works right now. I'm going to try to screen share my phone. I will let you know in 1 second if it works. So fingers crossed. If not, I can still teach you the tactic without actually using this, but I think it's going to work. So lo and behold, you guys give me a thumbs up. You can see my screen right now, right? Awesome. So this is on my phone, Instagram. Here's another thing you can do. Many of you have heard about by now. If not, you've now heard about it. Stories. Stories on social, they're those little circles at the top of your phone on Facebook and Instagram. They're also on your desktop. People post them. They disappear in 24 hours. They are the most valuable view that you have in real estate, that you have on social, because they're the last view that you can actually trust. There's no algorithm. There's no, you put up a post and it shows up in somebody's newsfeed. Every single view that you have on stories was someone who went and clicked on the circle with your face and said, I want to see what they have to say. So every one of them is valuable. But if you hit that little plus at the top of your Instagram, right? You see that little plus at the top, right? If you hit that, you can go and click story. And now you can go to click a story, right? So I've got this on me. I'm not actually going to do this right now, but I'll just take a ridiculous picture. When I take that picture, I'm going to post a story. If I click that little sticker at the top right, the third one over, this pops up and I have the option 3 down in the middle to click poll, okay? See that poll in the middle? When I click on poll, I can now ask a question, right? So I can say something like, have you had any thoughts of selling, let me just get the verbiage right, of selling I'm not going to do it all, but you get the point. Have you any thoughts of selling in the next 12 months, right? And then I can have that yes or no there. Now, this only stays up for 24 hours. So let's talk about how this works. Because stories are gone in 24 hours, you should have a post like that going up every 24 hours. Because here's what happens. You put out a poll and it says, have you had thoughts of selling the next 12 months? You put out a poll the next day. Do you know anybody looking to sell in the next 12 months? And people start to interact with that poll and they click yes and they click no. When you go into your stories and you swipe up, it shows you who's voted which way. Now, you don't need tens of thousands of followers for this to work. If you had 15 people that voted every day and 1 or 2 of them say yes, you literally just created every single day 1 to 2 potential seller leads. We did this. We do an annual event called the Jared James Advance. And at the Jared James Advance, it's a 2-day training thing. We bring people in from all over the place. When we were selling it virtually last year, I was posting on my stories almost daily, have you been meaning to buy a ticket but haven't done it yet? Yes or no? And people would reply yes. I would swipe up. I would see all those people that said yes, and I would turn them over to my sales team, who would then be reaching out with a special promo. And we were selling tickets every day because we were able to capture that interest simply by using a poll, okay? And so don't have these available to you, these tools. Remember, awareness or adoption. You're aware now, use the polls, ask the questions, have, whatever it is. Are you worried about selling because you're not sure of where you're going to go to? Yes or no? Get people respond, and now you've got a very specific list of people, and you know exactly what they want to do. We need to use that to our advantage, okay? Next one. This one's really simple, but take advantage of your just sold marketing. Let me explain what I mean. When you do your just sold marketing, right? And whether you send out postcards, whether you're sending out letters, whether you're sending out, doing it socially and promoting, whatever it is, here's what we don't want to do. What a lot of us are doing right now is we're putting out marketing that says things like, sold in less than 24 hours, 57,000 offers and 100% over asking. Like, we're putting out posts like that. Obviously, I'm being, not saying exactly what you're saying. But when we're putting out that kind of marketing, we're creating the FSBO market. Do we understand that? Like, when as agents, we put out all of these postcards and mailers and all this stuff going way over asking in less than 24 hours, you're creating the FSBO market. And then you're upset when people are wanting to go FSBO. And it's like, well, we're the ones that kind of got them to go FSBO, right? So the verbiage we use has to be on with trying to market and pick up sellers, right? Because it's an opportunity. When you sell a home, statistically within 30 days, another home is going to be listed in that area. And people read, by the way, those postcards, those mailers, because they care about their neighbor's property. So let's take advantage of that. And instead, we should have some kind of verbiage that says something like, just sold, negotiated multiple offers. In other words, something I did, negotiated multiple offers and sold over asking. Now, here's the key point. You're then going to say, did you know that this sale may have changed the value of your home? Reach out right away to see how it may have changed, okay? That's called communication 101. It's not what I say that matters. It's what people hear. It's all that matters. When, 4 years ago, I was going to a charity event with my wife, and she was getting dressed, whatever, and I was getting dressed, and I looked over at my wife and I said, "Are you going to wear that?" I meant, you look more dressed up than me. Maybe I should get more dressed up. Is that what she heard when I said, "Are you going to wear that?" No, that is not what she heard. I promise you, that is not what she heard, okay? So it didn't matter what I said, it mattered what she heard, right? And so when we put out marketing like this and we say, hey, did you know that this sale may have changed the value of your home? Okay, I didn't say their value went up, but what did they hear? They heard value went up. Reach out right away. to find out how your value may have changed, okay? We know they're looking at this. Let's be the knowledge broker. Let's be the person that's actually there for them at the time that they need us to let them know when they're thinking of selling, right? And by the way, another little tip on this, I think a lot of agents are also making a mistake right now, throwing properties on the market and letting them sell that quick within 24 hours. You're missing your opportunity to circle prospect, to market, to pick up other sellers and buyers. Like, every listing should gain you 1 seller and 2 buyers, right? And when you throw it on the market and it sells right away with 37 offers, you missed your opportunity to pick up other clients. Instead, what a lot of our students are doing is they're putting it on the market and they're putting in the remarks, you know, all offers will be reviewed and one accepted on blank, whatever that date is, giving yourself 7 days, giving yourself so that you have more time to market, get better offers, get all of that stuff, but that's a side thing, okay? So don't create the FSBO market with your marketing. Take advantage of your just sold marketing and have the right verbiage in there. Did you know that this sale may have changed the value of your home? Reach out right away if you'd like to know how it's changed. Here's one more that you can do from a social perspective. And this is very step by step. So you gotta be right on with this, okay? So how many of you, when you sell a home, when you close out with a client, how many of you put out a congratulations post, right? You guys done that? Congratulations to my clients, blah, 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 was awesome. You guys do that, right? Okay, so that works, but here's what needs to be done. Very specific. Number one, you need to be in the picture, right? You got to be in like this, congratulations to my sellers. This can be a stressful experience, but with you, it was amazing, blah, blah, blah. Post it on the day of closing. Now, here's the key, 2 things. Number one, at the end of that post, because it's going to get a lot of traction, there are certain things on social that in the algorithm, certain words make them show up to more people. One of those words is the word congratulations, okay? When you put congratulations in a comment, that triggers the algorithm and it shows up to way more people, okay? That's why engagements, marriages, new babies, moving. Have you ever noticed how much traction they get, right? It's because people are writing congratulations. So the algorithm triggers and goes, show it to more, show it to more. So if you want any of your posts to do better, just go into your own comments and write congratulations. I'm only half kidding, but it actually does work. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to end off, you're going to be in the picture with them. Congratulations, say something nice. And then you're going to say, this means I have room for 1 more seller. Who do you know? ? Now, here's the key. The hope is that that client is going to share it to their people, right? Because we want their friends and family to see us. We want ourselves to be an option, right? Here's the key. When you post it on the day of closing, you do not tag them, okay? Why? Because they're going through the 3rd most stressful time in their life, death, divorce, and moving, okay? They may not see it. They're dealing with the move. They're dealing with whatever. What you do is you wait 3 days. And if they still haven't shared it to their following, you're now going to tag them 3 days later, because now it goes to the top of their list. They see it. They're not as crazy. And now you're guaranteed that they're going to share it to their people. And now you're going to have thousands of impressions with all of these people that you don't know, don't whatever, but now you're visible in front of them, right? Remember, visibility trumps ability. So number one, you need to be in the picture. Number 2, in the post, you need to say at the end, this means I have room for 1 more seller. Who do you know? And number 3, you don't tag them on the day of the post. You wait until 3 days after. Does that make sense to everybody? Very specific. If you don't do it like that, it's not going to work the same. Very specific. Next one. So you can start doing this with all your past people, but you absolutely need to start doing it with the future. But you need to be doing financial updates on all of your clients' portfolios. Let me explain to you what I mean. Do any of you work with a financial advisor? And does that financial advisor not update you every year on how your portfolio is doing, right? Okay. What is the number 1 contributor to somebody's wealth, retirement, and everything else? Their home, right? So in essence, when we sell a home to somebody, we're selling even beyond their portfolio and all that stuff, the number 1 contributor to their wealth, their retirement, their whatever. Why wouldn't we be giving them yearly updates, right? So 2 things need to happen. Number 1, every person you close with going forward, you need to, in your CRM or in your calendar, put a 1-year reminder, follow up, and give them an update on their portfolio. That's the word we're going to use, portfolio, real estate portfolio, okay? And that's going to happen once a year. For all of the people you've worked with in the past, you can start this today or tomorrow. Start reaching out and letting them know what's been going on in the market and that you wanted to give them an update on their real estate portfolio, even if they only have one property, because portfolio speaks to multiple properties, right? And so it's the idea of, hey, that property you bought probably has about $80,000 in equity right now. If we were to take about $25,000 of that, we could buy this 3-family over here, which will net you about $1,200 a month. And now you could start putting your money to work for you. And now you're actually advising them on their portfolio. Do you guys see how that works? Okay. So yearly reminders on what's going on with their portfolio and what they can do with that money. Going forward, start putting in the reminders. Now start reaching out to all your past people. It's a great reason to make contact with them. Okay. Number 2, and this one works really well. The first part's really easy. I want you to start reaching out to do you have people in your database that you never actually worked with? They weren't buyers and sellers? Of course. 5 people a day, I want you to reach out to them to give them an updated CMA of their property, right? That you haven't worked with, that are not buyers and sellers. But here's the key thing. So you're going to reach out to 5 a day, and let me show you how this is going to work. Not only are you going to reach out to 5 people a day in your database to give them an updated analysis, CMA, on their property, on their portfolio, because you never worked with them, you've got to get their attention, right? So here's what you're going to use. You're going to use a little thing called Google Earth, okay? I don't know if you guys have heard of this before, but it's free. When you go to Google Earth and you go and you just type it into Google Earth, and you launch Google Earth, you have the ability to put in somebody's address, and it will do an overhead of that property. And you can zoom in, you can move around. So if I go here and I say, I want to go to 185 Plains Road, it's going to show me that property, which is right here. You could put in theirs. I can zoom in, I can move around. Okay. And here's what I'm going to do. While I have it screen shared like this, I am going to use a tool like BombBomb or like Zoom or like one of these other companies. And I'm going to record the overhead of their property. And while I'm giving them an update on their property, I'm going to be moving around on it to show them, you know, roof's been updated. Here's the pool. Here's the this. And while I'm doing it, because this is how screen recording works, I'll be in the bottom right-hand corner. They'll see me talking, but the whole thing's going to be on their property while I'm talking about it. Okay. Now, why does that work? Because when you send to 5 people a day a personalized update, a personalized CMA, but the video thumbnail is an overhead of their property, do you think that the likelihood of them watching that video went up or went down? What do you all think? Okay. What would you do if you saw an overhead video of your home? You're like, what is this? I got to see this, right? 5 a day do just that, right? I taught that to our coaches about 2 weeks ago. And 1 week later, I got an update from one of our coaches. And she said, Jared, oh my God, I've listed 2 properties already just by doing that. Okay. By reaching out because people are watching it. Okay. Now let's talk about another thing that you can do using video. Okay. You're going to send out an email to your database, and the email subject is going to say, find out what these 2 numbers have to do with the value of your home. Do you see how I keep making it about them? Okay. Find out what these 2 numbers have to do with the value of your home. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a video with a thumbnail that has 2 pieces of paper with big numbers written on it, 2 different numbers. And that's going to be the thumbnail for that video. Now, they don't know it until they watch it, but those 2 numbers are the increase in value in properties nationwide and the increase in values locally. Okay. And so I'm going to have those 2 numbers held up. Find out what these 2 numbers have to do with the value of your home. And then they're going to watch it. And I'm going to be like, this is what's happened nationally. This is what's happened locally. More specifically, here's what's going on with Europe. And I'm going to go into the local market and whatever. But that is what's going to catch them to get them to actually watch the video. Now, here's the gold. Okay. If you use a company like BombBomb or if you use a company like any one of the email servers or any CRM you use, what will happen is this is called going from macro to micro. You send it out to your whole database. But then 2 days later, you go and check on that email. They'll have statistics on it, and you'll see who's opened the email, and you'll see who has watched the video. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click on that number of the people who have watched the video, and it's going to show you, here's 18 people that watched the video. You're now going to shoot each one of those 18 people an individual video from you that says, hey, I don't know if you watched that video or not. Yes, I do. But I don't know if you watched that video or not. But there was something very specific about your property that I wanted to let you know about. When are you available to chat, right? And you need to know something specific about that school district, about that area. There's something about every area, right? But it's called going from macro to micro. Send it to everybody, then look at the analytics and see who actually watched the video. Once you see who watched the video, one-to-one videos, one-to-one, right? And how did we get them in? Again, intrigue. We went 2 different numbers. Find out what these 2 numbers have to do with the value of your home. Why does anybody watch that unless they want to know the value of their home? Make sense to everybody? I know that's very specific, guys, but that's how you win. Like that's how you do it. Let's talk about another way. I got 5 minutes more, and I'm going to do 5 minutes of Q&A. Greatest way right now to create sellers in your marketplace is to leverage your buyers. It's the greatest way. Like it's not even close, okay? 2 things you can do. Whenever a listing hits a market, statistically within 30 days, another property is going to hit the market, okay? We use a thing called a buyer neighborhood letter. That letter, by the way, that group I showed you in the beginning, and I'll post the link at the end, that Jared James Coaching group on Facebook, all of these templates are in the files in there for free, okay? Thing called a buyer neighborhood letter. Every time you show a property and they don't buy the property, you should be sending this buyer neighborhood letter to the local neighborhood. And the neighborhood letter basically says, hi, so-and-so, I showed your neighbor's property at blank the other day to my buyers, Johnny and Sandy. Very specific. Unfortunately, it wasn't the right property for them, but as I'm sure you're not surprised, they absolutely love the neighborhood. What they're looking for is, and you describe just about every house in that neighborhood, okay? Can you do me a favor? If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, can you please let me know right away? I may be able to sell their home without it ever even hitting the market, okay? Now, to look up those homes and to send to, the easiest way is if you just go to USPS.com, United States Postal Service, USPS.com. They have a program called EDDM, Every Door Direct Mail, where you don't even send out with postage. You just pick mailing routes. Super cheap, no postage, and they'll deliver these letters for you. You should be doing that every time you show a property, okay? That's called leveraging your buyers to get sellers, right? Why wouldn't you also do that every time you make an offer and it's not accepted? Any of you been outbid, right? Like any of you multiple offer situations? We have a template called buyer's offer not accepted. A letter goes out to the area after you've been overbid, goes out to the area. You know, hi, so-and-so, I showed your property to your neighbor's house the other day. Unfortunately, their offer wasn't accepted. Due to the low inventory, we've had trouble finding anything, but they are ready, willing, and able to go. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your property without it ever hitting the market. You hear that same language over and over again? Succeeding in real estate, guys, is about saying the right thing at the right time to the right people. It's not about how many times you've said it. It's about how many times they've heard it. That's all that matters. Last way you can leverage buyers. And by the way, you should be doing this now and moving forward forever. Every buyer you have, you should be making a video. Whether it's a video like this, whether it's holding up a phone and going, hey, everyone, I've got 2 buyers looking in so-and-so district that are looking for up to a 3 to 4 bedroom, 1 to 2 bath, 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. It's got to be in this school district. Due to low inventory, they've been unable to find anything. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, can you please let me know right away? I may be able to sell your house without it ever hitting the market. You make that video, and then you post it on Facebook, you post it on Instagram, you post it on YouTube, and you pay to promote it. Pay $20 and promote it to the city so that everyone sees it that doesn't even know you. And now you've got people tagging their friend that they know is selling with a 3 to 4 bedroom ranch in that school district, tagging their parents, reaching out to you directly, because now you're leveraging your buyers to get sellers. you've got to have the cheese to catch the mice, right? And just like we have a budget for listings and we, market listings, why don't you have a budget for buyers and market buyers to get those sellers? You only got to pay like $20 to promote that and have everybody in your area see it. Make a video for every single buyer now and going forward directly to the marketplace, telling them what you need, because visibility trumps ability. Get there before them. Does that make sense? Okay. Next one. 2 minutes. Expireds are generally not a great way to get business right now. If a property expires now, it's haunted. There's something wrong. Like that, it just doesn't really happen now. But pull up in your MLS the last 2 to 5 years of all the properties that expired and didn't relist and didn't resell. Okay. We have a campaign called the Still Wanna Sell campaign. It's in our group on Facebook. You can get it for free. It goes out to them. Most of them, by the way, still want to sell. They just don't know that they can. Most of them, the reason they didn't sell is because of they couldn't get the price they wanted, right? What's happened the last 2 to 5 years? Has the market gone up or down? It's gone up. And nobody's going after them now. So you send out this letter to the last 2 to 5 years expireds that didn't relist, didn't sell. And it goes out and it says, hey, I saw that you tried to sell your property. There's a lot of reasons why I wouldn't sell. You may not be aware, but you may be able to sell now, whereas you couldn't have before. Prices have gone up, whatever. If you'd like to know if it's still a possibility, please reach out to me. And it says those kinds of things. We had one of our students do this 3 weeks ago. And out of all the last 2 to 5 years that met those criteria, there was only 27 properties that matched that criteria. He listed 9 of them. Listen to that for a second, guys. He listed 9 of them. Okay, that's insane. So it's another example, guys. You gotta be creative. You gotta innovate. Last one I'll share with you is, you want to get sellers, do a good job with your current sellers. That's it, right? When you look at it, I think it's 91% of buyers say that they will use their agent again or refer their agent again. 53% of sellers. When we have more control over the sellers. So what does that mean? We're not doing a great job for them. You need to have an outside marketer who every single listing you get is like McDonald's. It's the same fries every time. They get the same marketing, same experience. You need to have a TC, a transaction coordinator, 8 hours per transaction, freeing you up so you can focus on your sellers, focus on your business. In the end, that's ultimately what's going to matter and what's going to allow you to do the things you need to do to build your business. But guys, that's my time. I'll answer questions for you. I'll post in the chat the links that I had talked about. But let's open it up, guys. If you have questions, I'm good to go.
Hey, Jared, we'll take live questions as well, but we have one question in the chat box that I'd like to get out there first. And the question is what verbiage do you use, once again, on the aerial update video? Yeah,
sure. So you're talking about the one where you're doing overtop, you're doing 5 a day, that kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So it's going to be kind of like a market update. Hey, guys, I'm not sure. Hey, no, you're going to actually say their name, by the way. Hey, Tom, just wanted to reach out to you because I've got you in my database and I always want to provide value in any way that I possibly can. Just wanted to let you know that, I was looking at your neighborhood recently and your property came up. And recently what's happened locally is that prices have gone up, blah, 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 which means according to the records I can see, you probably have about this much equity in there. And you're just having that kind of a conversation. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. You could sell, you could pull the money out, go to another property. There's a lot of different things you can talk about with that. That's going to be up to you guys where you want to go and who the person is. But I would just have that conversation and then end it off with, hey, if you'd like to know a more exact value of what's going on, reach out right away. I'd love to schedule something at no cost to you and just have that conversation. It's really a simple thing.
Okay. Hey, one more quick question on the chat came through. And that is they absolutely love the ideas, but they want to get your quick opinion on door knocking.
Sure. If you're able to do it in your area, sure. It's not the most effective. Circle prospecting when it comes to whether it's a phone, whether it's, I don't know if you guys use Sly Broadcast. Sly Broadcast is a tool where you can leave one voicemail and press a button and it goes into everybody's voicemail in the area. It's called Sly Broadcast. So for example, let's say that you were calling around a listing and you wanted to let people know, Hey, just want to let you know your neighbor's property was just listed over at blank and thought you might want more information. More importantly, this may have changed the value of your home. If you'd like to know how it may have changed or you want more information, I'm going to be at this number until about 7:30 tonight. It's called dropping a deadline. Till 7:30 tonight, give me a call back right away. You could do that voicemail through Sly Broadcast, hit a button, and have it go into the voicemail of every single person in that neighborhood. That is more effective as far as from a time perspective than door knocking. But door knocking still works as long as you're in an area where it's okay and it's allowed. In my area, we could do it, but then there's other areas that are still completely locked down and they're not allowed to make eye contact with people. Sure, visibility, absolutely. But I'd be looking at other tactics too and saying what's even more effective.
Okay, great. Hey, what I would say is that if there's anyone else out there that would like to ask a question, go ahead and unmute. We've got only about 2 more minutes, but certainly Jerry would be happy to take any other questions that you may have. Just go ahead and unmute yourself if you would and ask the question.
And I'm going to let everybody know too, a lot of the stuff I mentioned, I'm putting the link right now in the chat, the connectwithjared.com. Two things, guys. Number one, if you go to connectwithjared.com, the Instagram profile is there where you can pull up those templates. The Facebook group where you can pull up all of those free templates I was talking about is in there. You can go to that. All of my stuff is in there. And then even after this is done, guys, if you have questions at any time or whatever it is, you just want to say hello, whatever. Easiest way is just DM me, direct message me on Instagram or Facebook or one of these places. I literally time block daily to just get back to people and help them and answer their questions. So do that at any time.
Outstanding.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really find it very valuable. Now, a lot of your things that you said, you use the verbiage before it hits the market. Now, to me, it kind of like is questionable verbiage of code of ethics. And are you not looking to list that home?
Yeah, so the verbiage I used was without it hitting the market. That was the verbiage I used.
Okay.
And yeah, you're allowed to sell a home without it hitting the market. Now, before it hits the market is another thing. That's like in different areas, you're allowed to do coming soons. Other ones you aren't.
Right.
That's why I very specifically did not say before it hits the market.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to be, guys, we're in real estate, so you got to be careful. Like every time you innovate, something is, wrong and bad and, all that stuff. So believe me, we do this with people all over the world, and all of our templates, everything, the verbiage we use is very specific to make sure that we're in line with what's allowed to be done, while also still innovating and making sure that you're not just acting like a robot and saying exactly what everyone else is saying. So every area is different. It's why I don't teach a lot of coming soon strategies.
Right.
Some areas can do it, some areas can't. So I just say, hey, I'm not going to teach that. But as far as, marketing, you're allowed to market. And telling people that you may be able to sell a home. You can bring buyers to an off-home market and sell it without it being on the market. That's allowed.
And you also said something about promotions. Now, can you give an example of what type of promotion you use then in those, is the strategy that you use?
What do you mean? Promotions for what?
You said that, like you said, like promotions, like in the early part of the video. I wrote down just that
Yeah, I'm
snippet.
trying to think which part, if anybody else knows like which part you're like promotions. I mean, I can give you examples of promotions, but I mean like which promotions, which part was it?
Well, maybe just give a couple examples and then maybe it'll refresh my my memory of that, because I just wrote that little blurb real quick and that's what I was curious about.
So you want to know promotions, like ways to promote to get what in front of sellers, or ways to promote which way
Like
of promoting?
what you offer, like what you're giving for value that's different to a seller, I guess.
Oh, you know what? Actually, one of the things I didn't cover today, which we could have, is the idea of, it's kind of like promotions of what's your compelling call to action? What are you giving them, right? There's a lot of things you can do. One of them that you can do that works really well, that almost no one does in the industry, is something like certified pre-owned homes. When you look at a lot of other industries, go buy a car. Like you won't buy a used car unless it's a Toyota certified pre-owned and it's got a 50-point checklist and whatever. One of the things we teach our students to do is certified pre-owned homes, and, make a deal with an inspector and, get inspections at half price because you're having them do every one of your homes, and every home you list comes with a home inspection Any major things are already handled, comes with a 1-year home warranty. Like there's those kinds of things you can do from a promotion standpoint that way too many people right now are not using. They're not getting creative with. So certified pre-owned homes is one. You guys have probably heard of guaranteed sale programs. Instant offers is a great one. You know, when polled, 93% of sellers said that they would prefer to get an instant offer. And yet less than 1% ever actually take that offer, right? And so you look at these companies like Zillow and these other iBuyers where they're killing it using instant offers. And we're like, that's crap. But here's what competition does. Competition does one of two things. It either eliminates you or it makes you better. And so for a lot of us, when we know, if we listen to the consumer, that 93% want an instant offer, why wouldn't you go to a local REIA, R-E-I-A, Real Estate Investors Association? Go make an agreement with 5 different investors that any property you bring them, they'll make an offer on within 24 hours. And now you're able to promote the sellers too, that another option is we'll make an instant offer. You go into that property, get the property, tell them within 24 hours, we'll have 5 offers for you. And now you're promoting that you also have an instant offer. They're almost never going to take it because they just don't, unless they got a full price, whatever. But it's another way to get you in front of them. So one of them is to get you in front of them. And the other one I told you, which is certified pre-owned homes, is an advantage to them and to the buyers. But those are the kinds of things you want to be coming up with that separates you, because call me is not a call to action, right? You got to have something that actually matters to them and differentiates you in the market.
Right. Well, Jared, I know our time is up, and boy, really appreciate all that you've been able to cover with us. And I will tell you that based on my viewing the faces on the screen, no one was disappointed. So, Jared, thank you so much.
That's a first, man. That's a first. Guys, I'll leave it there again. Feel free to reach out. I'm going to jump on another call here, but connectwithjared.com. Reach out, connect, guys. I'll help however I can, and I can't wait to be with you guys in person. And, big ups to your leadership team too for making this happen for you guys. I hope you got some point of value. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.